Hey yogis, it's Cori. I hope you are doing well. It's been super cold and rainy here in Austin, which we aren't used to, so I've been wearing my slippers and sweatpants everywhere I go, but most of the places I go are to do yoga and to teach yoga, so it's been working out well. In today's video, I wanted to talk about what makes a good yoga instructor, and I don't want to talk about it in a way like, I'm an amazing yoga instructor, I'm great, so here are some tips that I do that you should do. I want to talk about it in a way that if you're thinking about becoming a yoga teacher or you're already certified and you feel nervous, like you might not be good, and you're having doubts about yourself, I want to dispel some of those doubts and share from my experience of over 10 years of going to hundreds and hundreds of yoga classes of what, in my opinion, makes a good instructor. And the reason I wanted to share this video is because I had two stories that came up that I felt like people around me were confused about what makes a good instructor. So the first one happened when I was visiting my friend, and we went to a yoga class together, and we were riding in the car after class, and I was like, oh, that was a nice class, like really nice studio. I like the teacher's sequence. It was a good class. And my friend was like, oh yeah, and the instructor's really fit and like really skinny, so you know that it's going to be good yoga. And I said, oh no, like that is not what makes a good yoga teacher. You do not have to be fit to be a good yoga teacher. You do not have to be skinny to be a good yoga teacher. You do not have to look any certain way to be an excellent yoga instructor. I've had amazing instructors of all different shapes, sizes, body types, different genders, different races. You don't have to be Indian. You don't have to be white. You don't have to be a male. You don't have to be a female. That is not what it takes to be a good yoga instructor. So, dispelling doubt number one. And then the second story was I was in a class with one of my favorite instructors, and she was explaining the pose to us and how she would do it, and she said, like, I'm not doing the pose that well right now because I got in a car accident a few years ago and my practice really struggled. I gained a lot of weight, and so I used to be able to do this pose so I can teach it to you, and now I'm not doing it as well. And it felt like she was kind of defending her practice to us because she couldn't get into that pose in the very best 100% way that she knew she used to be able to. And I just wanted to tell teachers out there and teachers to be that you don't have to defend your practice to anyone, even just a regular yogi if you're not a teacher. Like, you don't have to explain why you can't do a certain pose, or if you're able to teach the steps into a pose, you don't have to tell people that, like, I do the same thing. I say, oh, I have really tight hamstrings, so this is not what it should look like. But, you don't have to say that. And there are teachers who don't do any of the poses with the class. They just explain how to get into the poses every time. They just walk around the room and give adjustments, and I appreciate that more sometimes than seeing the teacher do the pose. So as long as you can safely explain how to do it, if you can't do a crow pose or you can't do a handstand, like, that doesn't mean that you can't teach someone else how to be able to do it. So after those two stories, I wanted to make this video of what I found makes a good yoga instructor. So the first thing, to be any type of instructor of anything or a teacher of any kind, you have to care about people. And if you don't care about people, it would be strange that you'd be led into a teaching profession. But especially in yoga, you need to be able to respect that people have given you their time, their money, and a sort of protection over their bodies. They're trusting you to offer safe modifications, to plan a sequence that makes sense and offers different levels for everyone, and that you're putting a little bit of thought behind your practice, and that people can trust you. They're opening their lives to you. Sometimes they're looking to you for spiritual guidance as well as physical guidance, so just to have a certain level of respect and care that people are giving you that access into their lives. And the second thing that I think makes a good yoga instructor is, of course, to care about yoga. And I mean taking it beyond the level of caring enough to get a 200-hour certification. It's not just doing that and being done. I think the best yoga instructors have a practice on their own. They continue to go to yoga classes, and they're constantly looking for ways to improve their teaching. Whether that might mean just practicing with different instructors, doing retreats, taking workshops, learning as much as they can about yoga and the different elements of yoga. I think that's what separates a great instructor than someone who's just coming in and going through the motions with you. So caring about people, caring about yoga, hopefully those are two things that led you to become an instructor in the first place. And then after that, it's just building upon them and getting deeper and deeper and expanding your knowledge. And the third thing that I think is essential to being a good yoga instructor is being able to be yourself. And it's definitely harder than it looks. I think the best instructors do it really well, and they're able to be themselves in front of a group to share personal details of their lives. You know, never too much, but giving a human side to your teaching. So not just coming in and doing the sequence and then leaving, talking to people both before and after class, giving maybe a little bit of detail from your life or something that happened that day that students can grab onto. I think the best studio owners and the best teachers I know their students on a personal level, even if it's just knowing their name or knowing which classes they come to or where they are in their practice. I think that is what keeps people coming back, and it's what keeps yoga having this magical quality to it. It's a way that we build communities in the places where we live. Sometimes yoga is like one of the only human contacts people have all day if they work from home. Sometimes I used to be like that when I used to work from home. So it's really nice to have a place that they can go to and feel like, oh, I'm going to see someone I know here. Oh, the people I trust are here. Oh, the teacher is going to share something that rings true to me. So, being yourself, being authentic, and knowing that it'll come, especially in the beginning when you're really nervous and it's hard to let anyone have a glimpse into your life when you're just trying to get in there, get your sequence out without having to look on your paper. So just taking your time and letting a little bit of yourself show. And then I think on top of those 3 essential tips, pretty much everything else that you add into your teaching is subjective to what kind of yoga you teach, what kind of classes you want to teach, and what each student likes. So it's pretty subjective. But as long as you have those 3 elements, caring about your students, caring about yoga, and being yourself, then it's really hard to go wrong as a yoga teacher. So if you agreed with the tips in this video, or if you have anything to add, give it a thumbs up or add something in the comments about your favorite yoga teachers or what you think makes a good instructor. We'd love to hear it. Always looking to learn more. Thank you for watching. Namaste.